From the PSIA-AASI Satellite Studios in Portland, Oregon, I'm George Thomas. You're listening to First Chair. Love the guest we have for you today. Really fun show coming up. Marisa Cooper of Western is joining us. Marisa, thank you so much Thank you so much for your time to chat with us today.
My pleasure to be here, George. Thank you.
So we are chatting about mentorship, and recently had the pleasure of interviewing Matthew Lyerly from Eastern, and your name came up, and really wanted to speak with you about how you're looking at mentorship programs. And as you and I were talking before we started to record, you brought up something I thought was really fascinating, and that was really the advantages of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And could you delve into that a little bit for our memberships about what alignment is bringing for all the regions?
One of the things that I'm most excited about in our alignment process is the opportunity to identify and elevate best practices that are happening all over our region. We are 9 independent nonprofits, and whenever you're working in a nonprofit, it means you're under-resourced, right? Like, you don't have enough money and time and people to deliver all the things that you want to deliver. And what that forces you to do is be super creative and super innovative to figure out how to be in service of a changing membership across the country. In these corners of the nation where you have regional leadership who are creating these amazing programs that have high impact, but maybe a low lift, we can learn from that, right? There are programs and courses and events that happen all over the country that can teach us what works really well, what the members really respond to. And so whenever I know that one of my regional peers is doing something great, I love hearing about it. I love understanding it. And then I love asking for, hey, do you have anything written up about this? Like, do you have a program outline? Do you have a course guide? Like, what content can you pass my way so that we can figure out how to deliver a Western version of that works in the context of our region and our leadership and our resources. Some of the coolest things that are happening across the country, members don't even know it's because of alignment. It's because, like, the Executive Leadership Council is like bragging and nudging each other, like, hey, this thing, and hey, this thing, and this data that shows how well this is working. Like, you guys should also be really excited about this. This is the part of the alignment process that we never really talk about that. And I think it's really exciting. And I think it has the potential to really continue to deliver on member needs, whether it's for members seeking mentorship or members coming in a different cohort that have a different experience from other members. Somebody is thinking creatively about how to be in service of that. And we're going to do our best to not repeat the work that's already been done.
And you spoke glowingly of Eastern's mentorship program, but you haven't tried to kick one off in the West, but that doesn't mean you haven't been working on that, correct?
So we have run like big formal stood up mentorship programs in the past.
You have, okay.
And in full transparency, like, I covet the resources and volunteers of the Eastern region. It is so impressive, their capacity to run a region of that size and magnitude. And with that comes a lot of benefits. I mean, obviously a lot of challenges. It's a lot more work, but a lot of benefits come from that. And so, our region is a third the size, a third the resources, less than a third of the staff supporting the same types of process and programs. And so when you see a program like what the Eastern region is doing, I know we don't have that in the West. I don't have a volunteer with that much free time who's willing to pick up a mantle and run with it. We just don't have the resources. And so what we are looking at is, what can we learn about what works really well, what is high impact, and then how do we deliver on opportunities to serve as mentors or receive mentorship in the Western region that maybe look a little bit more unexpected.
And have you started some type of a program where you are beginning to implement that region-wide?
Yeah. And interestingly, we talk about mentorship and none of them, but behind closed doors, like the thread through all of them is opportunities for mentorship. So we have some unique task forces that we've set up, specifically our Women and Families Task Force. And we also have an ambassador program and an ownership linkage committee. And all of them are about creating avenues where wise members with lots of great experience who want an avenue to be relevant, to be seen, to be heard, to exercise leadership in growing ways are getting paired with newer members, younger members, members who have questions and don't necessarily know who to go to, members who are looking for a network and a community around them who help them get to wherever it is they're going, right? We kind of feel like we call it mentorship with a small m. And the idea is that there's an opportunity to find that person who's going to guide you, who's going to be super informative and impactful on your snow sports career. But maybe it's going to look a little bit more unexpected, right? More in those soft spaces and less in like we are pairing you with your mentor and come to your mentorship meeting because like we don't have time for that.
But you said a word that, thinking back, I really remember was important to Matthew in our chat, and that was community. He said he really looked at this as building community.
Yeah. Community building is the untapped hero of why we join a professional association. And we continue to find avenues in the Western region to create community, to foster community, to grow community, but also to figure out how a community turns into membership impact, right? So we are running a variety of community and leadership event series this year. So on hill clinics that are really just about finding your folks and gathering people together who share something like, this is a thing I really want to work on. This is a thing I'm really interested in. So that becomes your community, right? Like in the professional development space, we talk about this idea of network of practice. And I think formalizing it is important, but also holding space for the idea that like, you're just looking for your people, right? When we talked earlier, we were talking about like the similarities and differences between resorts and how the thing that there's so much that is similar from one ski school to another, from one state to another, one mountain to another. And the thing that's different is really like the flavor, right? Like the vibe, like who are the people? What is the culture in that space? And we want more opportunities for people to find that like really resonant fit of these are my people. This is the thing I want to be doing. This is what makes me come back again and again and again.
Hey, learning is a part of the adventure. CEUs aren't just a checkbox, they're your excuse to ski, ride, and connect. Knock out your continuing education at thesnowpros.org and keep the good turns going.
And that community, I was just thinking about that very thing as you were talking,
Yeah.
which I need to do because I really want to focus on what you're saying instead of thinking about my next question.
Thank you.
I was counting up, I worked at 6 different areas.
Yeah.
And each one, yes, we're teaching sliding on snow, but at the same time, the community is very similar, but very different. And you know, I didn't walk into each area and feel like, oh yeah, it took me a while to feel like, okay, now I'm starting to fit in at this area. And why is that? I mean, it's such a similarity, but there's still such a difference.
I think that when I first started this role as chief executive of the Western region, it amazed me when I would listen to people talk about the organization and they would say things like, the membership wants this, the membership needs that, our members feel this way about this thing. And it was always these like universal sweeping statements. And while there are some universal truths, right? Like we all love sledding on snow. That's why we're here. We love teaching. We love instructing, right? Like that's the thing that binds us all together. The truth is like there's a lot more nuance in the membership than that, even within regions, even within like micro regions, and then even within resorts, right? Like you have a children's ski school and you have an adult ski school. You have your weekend people, you have your midweek people. You have your holiday only people, and those nuances are such an opportunity it's such an untapped opportunity to better understand who we are and what we're doing. And a mentorship program can be part of that in the ways that like you micro set your mentorship program so it's happening in the context of place. And we're removing as much of the barriers as we can to understand that context of that specific place and those specific people, they matter a lot. And the more room we create for those nuances and those unique types of members to get what they need, the better of an organization we are. I know John May and Jeff Lifgren are talking a lot about this idea of like unique member cohorts and how do you operate in service of somebody who has a different approach and a different context and is looking for a different culture and a different experience out of just this one organization. And for us, like soft touching on some of these programs that used to look much more formal in our region is one way that we're seeing success with that, because it means somebody can find the mentorship that they need and that they feel supported by wherever it is available to them, as opposed to like this is the structure, and if this works for you, great, and if it doesn't, sorry, this is the structure that we have. Which I'm not suggesting that like anyone else's mentorship program is doing that, but that is how it looked for us.
And how are you going to grow out of that? You seem to have a lot of passion and interest in this topic. And we are going to touch on another topic that I know you have a lot of interest and passion in as well.
I mean, the way that we're trying to grow out all programs in the Western region is with really well-informed, data-driven decision-making, right? So what feedback do we have? What data points do we have to let us know whether this is working or not working? What are the high points that we can grow? What are the low points that we can slough off? We are constantly seeking the best possible data and feedback we can find to continue to evolve on a really regular and ongoing basis.
So, any words you have in conclusion about this topic, just to wrap up?
Of mentorship?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's been really astounding to me through our soft touch mentorship programs is the number of people who don't see themselves as mentors, but have the capacity to be really impactful to the peers around them. I think that I would encourage all members to understand that all of us are mentors in some way, and that the more we are thoughtful and engaged in the places where we are already mentoring, the better that level of mentorship becomes. Not all of us are going to have the opportunity to like sign up to be a formal mentor and participate in a formal process, but that does not lessen the impact and that's lessen, not lesson. That does not lessen the impact that we have on the people we mentor around us. The number of like mid-career or younger instructors, female instructors, a lot of times who are like, well, I'm not mentorship material. And I'm like, really? Everyone listens to you. Everyone is coming to you with their questions. Like, tell me again how you're not mentorship material.
And obviously an important topic, as you said, our two leaders of the organization as a whole, John May and Jeff Lifgren, are really discussing this. And I thank you so much for sharing. I did say one more topic that you have a lot of interest and passion about.
Sure.
That would be something that's coming up in about 2 months, but that would be Freestyle Academy.
Freestyle Academy. We are a small region, but we believe that we have something. Every region has something special, right? I think the Western region is beautiful, and I want every member in the country to come and see the mountains that we have to offer out here because they're just different, right? And we try to raise our hand every year to host something for the national membership. And this year we are so thrilled to be hosting Freestyle Academy at North Star. We have a really incredible lineup of top talent in the country coming together from the East Coast and the West Coast. We're not battling, but we are bringing East Coast and West Coast together at North Star to really explore what this can do. I recently had a conversation with Josh Smith, National Snowboard Team member Josh Smith, Western Ed staff, and over at June Mountain. And I was asking him about the some of the park skills in the level 2 assessment, and really wanting to understand, like, why are we doing this? And the thing that Josh said to me has stuck with me forever. And essentially what he's advocating for is the idea that freestyle skills are universal, and having a basic understanding of how to go into the park and be safe and enjoy your time and to take guests in there is a value add to almost every lesson you could ever lead. Kids and young people are clamoring to get into the park, and you don't have to teach them something dangerous, but you absolutely can leverage those skills as part of your broader toolkit to make sure that you're having a great time, a safe time in our parks with our guests. And being able to talk to parents about how to take their kids safely into the park, like, those are the kinds of things that I think we gloss over when we talk about the importance of freestyle certification and an event like Freestyle Academy to really just bust open, like, this can be for everybody, and it can have a universal benefit to guests nationwide, to instructors nationwide, that we want to make sure we keep talking about, right? Like, you will see the whole spectrum at our Freestyle Academy. There are folks coming who have a level 1 and no experience, like no FS1 training or prep courses at all. And we will be running an FS3, which those are super rare now. So, like, you're going to see the whole arc. And what I think is great about that is the through line is not like the most air. That's not the through line, right? The through line is ensuring that we are learning great skills to ensure an incredible guest experience.
Love it. And you're making me feel like I could go out there with my dad.
Everybody should come. Everybody should come. We set a goal for ourselves to host the largest Freestyle Academy that the country has ever seen, and we are on track. But every new registration helps us achieve that goal.
Well, we will be talking about this much more in the future.
Can't wait.
And thank you so much for all your time today, Marisa. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much, George.
Marisa Cooper joining us on First Chair from the PSIA-AASI Satellite Studios in Portland, Oregon. I'm George Thomas.
Bye.